Morning guys and girls. Okay, so I thought we would start off with what we're going to be using for today's weathering techniques and weathering tutorials, sorry. So it's like 7 o'clock in the morning in the UK, and no doubt when you watch this vid it'll be a lot later on, and once obviously it's posted up it'll be a lot later. But we like to start early because it's nice and quiet in the house. I've got my cappuccino next to me, I've got what I need next to me there, and a bag of licorice all sorts, so I'll be tucking into those. So first of all, things that I'm going to be using are surgical spirit. Now I think this is called rubbing ointment in or something like that in the States. I get this from Boots. It's a really good bonder to hold the powders onto the vehicle or whatever model you're sticking it to. Really cool stuff. Okay, so that's what I tend to use, so we'll be using that to start off with. So we'll put that to one side. I like to use the Forge-World weathering powders. You can use any, but these are the ones that I'm used to at the moment. I will be trying the MIG ones out as soon as they turn up, so we can sort of compare them at some point. But you know what, for now these will do. And you can actually use pastels and stuff like that as well, by scraping them, and I should imagine that works quite well, but I haven't tried them yet. And somebody said you can even use your wife's makeup. I'm not even going to attempt that, just in case I get into trouble. So for this we're going to be using light earth, then we're going to be using dry mud, and then a bit of fresh mud. And of course make sure you've got a paintbrush you don't mind losing, because this tends to ruin paintbrushes, but you know, just make sure you give it a good clean and you can pretty much save them. Okay guys, so today's vehicle, if I move all this out of the way, is what we started last week, which was I think it's a shadow sword, I'm not too sure, I can't remember, but I finished the paint chipping on it. Some people don't like, you know, massive amounts of chipping and stuff, but I just prefer it. After reading the book Hell's Reich, or Hell's Reach, or something, I think it is Hell's Reach, I think it is. There's a fantastic sequence in it where Grimaldis, who's the Black Templar chaplain, steps out after the massive battle, and his armour's pretty much all the paint's gone off it. So it's kind of stuck with me because, you know, in battlefields and stuff like that, these things are going to be all over the place fighting and stuff like that. They're going to get chipped through hits and stuff like that. So I kind of like the battle chip paint look, and that's what I'm going to go with for this, especially for this Krieg army. Maybe not so much on other vehicles, but I kind of liked it on this one. It means it's got a bit of history to it, as far as I said. Right, so there we go. There's our. This is where we're going to start on the sides. We're going to learn how to muddy up here. And let's just get this started, and I'll see you after this quick break where I have my cappuccino. Okay, see you in a second. Okay, so let's start. So we're going to take like a little cupful, which a lid there. This stuff evaporates quite quickly, so it's quite cool. So I'm just going to put it into the wheels. Now the idea is that this will just be a holder, a bonder for us, just to stick the weathering paints into. Now I'm just going to bring it around here as well. It will evaporate, so don't worry, but the idea is that it'll evaporate, leaving behind our weathering paints, and they'll be nice and dry. So we'll just move that out of the way, and we'll put the lid back on, stop it disappearing. It's really cheap, this surgical spirit. You can buy it in Boots in England, and I'm sure you can get it anywhere else. It was like 99p or something like that, or £1. Okay, so we're just going to flick our powders in first of all. Now I've gone for a lighter colour because I want a lighter colour in there to start off with, and you can dab it as well. and it's a long, laborious process. Look at that, I can talk today. Must have been that Chinese that I had last night. That was a good Chinese, by the way. All you can eat buffet for I think £12, and I managed to have my lion's share of the ribs, and also a really fantastic prawn dish that they do, and lots of noodles, and still found time, so I'm just going to dab it quickly, to text old Marnius to talk about the heresy stuff, which my wife was very impressed with. Okay, so look, just dab it on. You can flick it, you can dab it. The great thing about this is where our white spirit, or surgical spirit, sorry, don't use white spirit, surgical spirit is starting to evaporate. It gives us a chance just to use it just to hold these weathering powders in place. Now I'm going to go over it later with a PVA and gloss mix, because I like the muddy look. It's kind of cool, and you will notice as well as you go along that it will look different once you've sprayed it. So just go over it again. If you want a wet look, go back over it again with a gloss. If you want a dry look, let the varnish take it back. Okay, so this is getting a light coat on there, and we need a lighter coat so we can add the darker coats underneath. Now I'm just going to do the rest of the tank like this, and then we'll move on to the next section, so I'll see you in a second.